Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling.
Hello, and welcome back to Twin Cities by Night, Broken Neon, a Cyberpunk Red and Cyberpunk Edge Runners mission kit duet. Tonight, I'm joined with Rodney.
Hello.
And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to finish character creation, and then we're going to delve into Night City, as I have a little adventure set aside for Rodney to move his character through the skills and movement and combat and get a feel as we put Hyun, Axel, Kim on the streets of Night City. Rodney, how do you feel about your character coming together after our last session?
I feel like it's coming together fantastically. I think the roles themselves, for what we rolled, they kind of fall into place. For what we've chosen, we've added some really, really good conflict, right? Some really good backbone to the character, really good tie-ins.
You know, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about the Cyberpunk Lifepath Generator is I find that once you start talking about a character, that everything just kind of falls into place and it just fleshes it out even more than your concept.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's both intricate and simple at the same time. Very, very cool.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's move on and let's start talking about our stats. And we've decided to go with the Edge Runner method, right? Or the Street Rat.
Yeah, the Edge Runner method, is that the one where you roll 1d10 and then pick a block of stats?
No, that's the one where the Edge Runner is where you roll a d10 and pick from your column.
All right. Well, so let's go ahead and go with that one. I feel like that's a little easier, right? We get a whole stat block.
Oh, so you want to use the Street Rat is where you just roll a d10 and go from left to right across the board.
I believe so. I apologize. I might be confusing myself a little bit.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So the Street Rat method, if you jump to page 73 in your core rule book.
Yes.
That is, let me know when you're there.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. So that's, the Street Rat method is the first way that they're talking about. And as you can see by the example, that they rolled a 6, and that black line across the across the stat blocks, that is how the stats are generated.
Yes, that's correct. That's the one that I want to do. Awesome.
All right. Okay. Well, now let's move to page 74.
All right, I'm there.
And you'll see on the second on the second matrix is solo. So go ahead and roll a d10, and then we'll just derive your stats off of what you roll.
Sounds great. All right, let's go ahead and roll.
So a 5. All right. So just jumping back now. Oh, we go to the first page here, and you'll see intelligence, reflex. So, and then using that 5 across the board is where you get your stats from.
Awesome. 6 in intelligence, and then 6 in reflexes.
We're 6 in reflexes, 7 in dexterity.
Sweet.
5 in tech.
Perfect.
7 in cool.
Sweet.
6 in willpower.
All right.
7 in luck.
Oh, okay. Well, so luck
Now,
is 2, so I just write 7 out of 7 so far.
Now, what luck is just it's a stat that much like willpower in vampire, you can use it, but that gives you that's going to give you a +1, right, to your die roll. So if this is one of those things where you've got to take this cyber psycho out, I'm going to burn 5 luck, and I'm going to add 5 to my roll. And with my house rules, luck, much like with willpower in vampire, a roll with luck will automatically be a 2 if you roll a 1. So you cannot have a botch kind of thing.
Awesome.
And we'll get into that once we get into combat. And then your move is 6.
All right.
Your body is 8.
Sweet.
And your empathy on 4, that's 4.
Cool. All right.
Now, we're going to keep that at 4 and 4, but now your empathy, that's basically where you pull your humanity from. And so, moving forward after we build your character, the more meat that you chop off your body and have elective cyberware put in, well, that's the full humanity loss. If you get something blown off, well, that's half humanity loss, but still, it's taken away your humanity. And again, these are the mean streets, and living in Night City and just doing the things that we do as edge runners, that takes a toll on your humanity. Just trying to cling to it, trying to stay 1 foot above cyber psycho, where you just like, screw it all, I'm no longer human. I am the Borg. I don't care about this. So, and hanging out with friends and, doing good things, that restores some of that humanity. It restores that empathy. All right.
Understood. Now, is 4 a low empathy?
No, no. I
Good to
mean,
know.
it can go up to 6, but I mean, the thing is let's look at this through the eyes of your character. Your character left, your character left his cloistered Korean community, was basically kicked out, right? That
Yeah.
could take a toll on him, and then was like, how do I live? What do I do? And probably found that because your community was that little community may have been controlled and protected by a corporation, so there was all this security, right? But
Yeah.
the moment that you left that area, you were subject to the mean streets, and maybe you were just like, oh, what's going on? And maybe so one of the reasons why you have some cyberware is your character Axel got messed up by some gangers. He fell on the wrong side of the tiger claws, and they fucked him up. They
Yeah.
fucked his world up so much so that a knife to the eye. Well, thank God for Kuroshi Optics. Pop a new one in. That arm that was busted and mangled up and beaten with a crowbar. Well, thank God for cyber Militech and cybernetics. Boom, pop a new arm on, and that takes away from that empathy. How does kind of make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, I mean, obviously if 6 is the highest, right, it makes sense to have a little bit lower, especially because just from our roles here, right, I've already had, 3 tragic love affairs, 3 full enemies, so he's already lived a life, right, where he's probably lost humanity.
Oh, yeah. Well, technically 8 is the highest that you can have. But if you look at that solo list, right? The highest that you could get being a solo is 6.
Makes sense.
And that represents that hard life, right? Some solos, maybe they joined the military, and they were just, they just realized, oh, I'm fodder for this meat grinder, or just the things that it's a representative of a solo's life, right? It's hard scrabble. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to become a borged out killing machine. No, it's like what we talked about. It's those 3 tragic love affairs, those 3 tragic, those enemies that are working against you, that you're trying to do the right thing, but they're, it came across their goals. And just seeing that, and it just weighs and grinds it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the next thing we're going to work on is we are going to now get your derived stats. If you could please go to page 79.
All righty. In the core book?
Yeah, in the core rule book.
I'm there.
Okay, so your derived stats, the first thing we're going to talk about is your hit points. All right? So with your hit points, now you can see that there's a will and a body. All right? Your will is 6 and your body is 8. So go on the top to your body of 8 and go down to 6 on willpower. Where those two meet, those are your hit points.
All right, so it's looking like I've got 45 hit points.
Yes. Now, here's the thing about those hit points. They are never going to go up. Never. So the more that we advance your character, you're going to become more skilled. But this is not Dungeons and Dragons. This is not a fantasy role-playing game where every level you get, those hit points go up. Nope, it stays this way. The only way that we can adjust those stats is through modification through cyberware.
It's intense.
But so this, no matter how good your character becomes at violence and dishing out violence, you know what? That gonk with a knife is just as deadly as the cyber psycho with the mantis blades.
Yeah.
All right. So now, if we jump over to page 80, you'll see your humanity. And that is basically your empathy times 10. So your empathy is 4, so your humanity is 40. All right? And if you could just go ahead and put 40 out of 40. Oh, if you jump one block to your left, yeah. All right.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Now, couple things that we need to do is we need to get your seriously wounded and your death save. All right. So your seriously wounded is your hit points by half. Right. So 45 divided by 2 is, I want to say 23. But you got a calculator right there, so.
Is it rounded up or down?
Rounded down.
Gotcha, so 22. Oh, that's the seriously wounded, right?
Yeah, that's your seriously wounded. So at 22 hit points, when you're down to 22 hit points, it's a -2 to all actions. Okay. Now, your death save is your body stat.
Gotcha.
Now, when you get to 0 hit points, your character is not dead, right? You are in that, you are just so, your Axel is just so beat up that now we start going into the death save. And every round, you have to roll a d10 and roll under your body stat. If you under your death save, if you roll over,
understood. Good thing I have a high body.
yeah, and this is one of those. Cyberpunk is a very violent, and it's a violent game, and it is also, it's a skill-based game. So sometimes talking your way out of a situation might be better than trying to fight your way out of a situation.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay, so now that we've got our derived stats, the next thing we're going to look at is our skills. If I could get you to jump to page...
All right.
So, for this, right? Now, if you look at solo, these are the set skills and the set level. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So, your athletics, your level would be 2. Your athletics is... I generally know my character sheet very well.
You're good. Top left?
Yep. And your dexterity is 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your base is 9.
Makes sense.
So that's 9 plus a d10, and you want to get over the threshold, the difficulty threshold. Now, this is the way that not every skill is listed here on this list. If there is a skill that you want that's not listed, we can trade skills out. If something doesn't jive with you.
Okay. Sounds good.
But just go ahead and fill that out, and then the next thing, and once you're done with that, if you don't have a level in there, just go ahead and put your stat, and that would go over to your base.
Understood. All right.
So, now that we've set your skills, our next thing that we're going to set is your career skill.
Right.
That's on page 146.
I'm there.
All right. Now, combat awareness gives you some really, really cool things. All right. Now, your roll ability starts at 4. So where it says roll ability and rank, you would put 4. Right underneath where it says solo.
Gotcha. So 4?
No, where it says rank in that little box. Okay. Now, that means that you have 4 points in which you can now assign 2 different things, right? So if you look, damage deflection, right? For 2 points, decrease the first damage you take this round by 1. Fumble recovery, all right? For 4 points, you ignore critical failures you roll while attacking. Initiative reaction. Without thinking, you start a firefight. With each point that you set into initiative reaction, adds a +1 to your initiative. Precision attack adds, the more points. So your roll ability, the more improvement points that you put into it, and the higher it goes, you can now have more points to play around with. So,
very cool. Now,
yes,
this is an ability that exists. Like, is this kind of like do these points come back? I should say.
So, like what?
So I was like, it looks like the ability says when combat begins before initiative rolled.
Yes.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. So do these combat points, these rings, exist every combat situation? I should have.
So you can stack them however you want to prior to combat. So let's say you're beaten. Let's say you're you're fighting some low-level goons. You're like, okay, I want this to be over and done with. I'm just going to set everything at precision attack because I want this over and done with. Boom. Or you're having a really crappy day and that die just keeps rolling on a 1. You're like, okay, I'm putting everything into fumble recovery. So it's however you think that this combat is going to go and what would be best. And then before combat, I'll ask you what your stack is and you can tell me what it is, or you can keep it as the last one. But At the end of combat, basically it resets, right?
Makes sense.
Because you're so good at fighting, it's, what is apropos for this fight might not be apropos for that fight, but because you're this street hardened solo, you're like, I move faster and I hit harder.
Yeah, it gives you the ability to flex into whatever,
Yes.
you believe is best for that combat.
Yep. One of the things that I recommend that you do is, maybe if you want to, you can, if you've got like a Word document that you're keeping your notes on, and you can just copy that and you can just snip it and then paste it in your notes so that will always be there. Or remember page 146.
Yeah, absolutely. I snipped it before, and I have the 146 marked in the notes column on the sheet.
Okay.
Just in case.
Just in case. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is we are going to fit Axel for the future. All right?
All right.
And if you jump up to page 103 in the core rule book,
all right,
you'll see your solo outfit, right? It's the second column of the top matrix. And that's basically your gear. And that goes in that would go on your second page in gear. Now, I am not, if you can think of things that you could totally see your character having, I am not opposed to you sitting there saying, you know what, I don't have leisure wear footwear, I've got this, I've got my jacket, I've got my cool stuff, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely try and think of like things that he would normally have.
But if you just want to go on, and be like, write down what's there, perfectly fine.
I might do that for now, just because I'm not sure setting-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, obviously, there's like normal stereotypical things that you probably have, right? Like flashlight.
Yeah.
Cell phone, I imagine. Or some sort of communicator. I'm not sure how Cyberpunk Red treats that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, once we get to... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. But I'll write down what it is for now, and then possibly try and think of some things, or if we have funds to buy stuff, I can also do that. I don't want to... What is agent?
So your agent, basically, that's your phone. That's everything. Now we're in 2078. So I'm sorry, we're in 2078. So no one carries a phone anymore. Basically, your agent is a piece of cyberware that is in you. So when someone calls you, it pops up on your heads up display. Like, imagine just kind of walking down the street, and then in the upper left hand corner, a little thing would pop up that says, Scott is calling. Answer yes or no. And you're like, nah, I don't want to answer that. And you just think no, and boom. Or you think yes, and it just answers.
I like it. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, I've got the gear written down so far. Yeah.
And then here we go. I need you to jump up to page 98 because now the fun starts.
Oh man, I'm there. Oh man, okay.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking guns. And for this, what I need you to do is, let's go ahead and let's just kind of write down. So, assault rifle. Very heavy pistol. All right. Do you want a heavy melee weapon or do you want a shield?
Oh man.
Or do you want a katana?
Oh man. That's a tough choice. Is the katana something special in this game?
It
Or is
can
it
be.
just a cool weapon?
It can be.
Sure,
It's just,
why
you know,
not? I'm all for it.
All right. Now, over here on your gear is where you need to keep track of your ammunition. You've got 30 rounds of... You have 30 rounds of rifle ammunition. I'm sorry, 30 rounds of heavy pistol, 70 rounds of rifle, of your basic rifle rounds. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So, this is the way. Now, this game says that you get head armor. All right? Headshots are very difficult to make. If you try to make a headshot, you take an immediate -8 to your roll.
Oh man.
But here's the deal. An edge runner is all about style over substance. You got that awesome, you got that awesome tech hair mohawk.
Yes.
Is Axel really gonna cover that up with a stupid looking protected helmet?
Not unless he felt the absolute necessity to do so.
I'm almost thinking even in the absolute necessity is like, this is me. You know what? I'm gonna make my hair purple just for you. Boom.
Yeah, you're probably right, man. Because like I'm thinking, like absolute worst scenario, he probably want to go out with a bang, right? Heroically.
Yeah, exactly. So you could wear a helmet. I'm not saying that you can't, but in this world, you know what? You are going to you will be taking a penalty to your reputation, and you will be taking a to all of your cool rolls. You will take a penalty to that because this is Cyberpunk, baby. Nobody wears helmets except NCPD because they're wusses.
Fair.
So if you just want to go ahead and body and type and put in light armor jack. Or just put in L armor jacks if you want to get the whole thing. Okay. And then see the plus next to, you see the plus and minus? If you want to push that 11 times, go right ahead. All right. So that's your armor. There's no penalty for a light armor jack. The heavier armor that you start putting on, well, there are penalties that go along with it. But we're talking like, we'll get in there. Now, just a quick reminder how armor works is if you take any damage that is 11 points or less, it is going to, the armor will soak it and you take no damage. If there is damage that you take over that, so let's say I roll, we roll like you take 18 points of damage. Your 11 points are subtracted from that 18, and you take 7 directly to your hit points, but your armor is ablated by 1. So now it's 10. So anything 10 or less, but 10 and over, and it keeps going down. But your armor can get repaired, and so on, and we can get you, but you can always get your armor repaired and back up to its tops. It's back to 11 points.
Makes sense.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Now, go ahead and roll. Let's talk about your cash situation. Go ahead and roll 1d10 and multiply that by 1,000.
Quick question.
Yes.
Since I didn't take the head armor, can I sell it?
No.
Dang. All right.
$10,000. Woo!
Woohoo!
All right. Now, if I could get you to jump to page 117.
All right.
Now, we're talking cyberware.
Oh, no.
All right. So, one of the things that we've got now, as you can see, if you look at Solo, right?
Yes.
Your cyberware is a biomonitor, a Neuralink, a Sandevistan, and you get a choice of speedware or Wolvers. Speedware is what speedware is that's additional cyberware that jacks your nervous system up so you move faster, on top of what the Sandevistan already does. And you can find more. And you can find more on page 359.
All right. Is that like a package, basically?
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a choice as to like what kind of speedware your character wants. So,
all right. And that was on 350 something?
No.
Or am I?
Yeah, 359.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty, let me take a peek.
So, your Sandevistan,
Yes.
which is a Neuralware option, and what that does is that adds a +3 to your initiative roll, where the Karishnikov adds a +2. Right? I'll let you make the choice. I would recommend going with the Sandevistan because it sounds cooler.
I agree. When you said that at first, I was like, this just sounds like a weapon of destruction.
Yeah. Now, the Sandevistan, right? So that's, that gives you a +3. And in Cyberpunk, the person that goes first is usually the person that wins. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so you want to go with the Sandevistan?
Yeah, let's go with the Sandevistan.
All right. So that's with your Neuralink. So underneath your Neuralink, go ahead and put Sandevistan. It's like if you'll go right down. Yep. And then the data +3 to initiative. Okay. And then we want to come up here. And then also we've got our, under Neuralink, you want to put Biomonitor.
Alrighty. Bio.
And then you have now I'm going to ask another question. Does Axel, does he have a full-on cyber arm, or does he just have Wolvers?
I imagine he has Wolvers.
Okay. All right. So are they on his right or his left?
I think they're on his left.
Okay. So with Wolvers, let's go ahead and jump back up here to your weapons. And under basic, very heavy pistol, can you put Wolvers? All right. The damage is 3d6. The rate of fire is 2. Okay. Now, let's talk about guns. All right. Let's talk about guns. And for that, what I need you to do is let's jump over to the Cyberpunk Edge Runners Mission Kit book.
All right.
And what we're gonna look at is we're going to jump to page 31.
Alrighty.
Okay. What do you think Axel would be into? Would he be the type of solo that loves bouncing bullets off of walls and hitting people at angles? Or is he just the, I'm going to get to him and I want this over and done with, and I want to start punching, I want to punch bullets through light armor kind of thing?
Oh man. I think he's probably the up close and personal. I imagine with his body of 8, he thinks he's probably a sturdy son of a gun.
Mm-hmm. So
I like the idea of punching through light armor, getting right up close and personal, and making, having them see him as their last thing.
Okay.
But I could also see him as like a sharpshooter, right? With
Mm-hmm.
his sort of Western style,
Mm-hmm.
having some sort of assault rifle or a long range rifle.
All right.
I could go either way.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about that very heavy pistol is a tech pistol?
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm all for it.
So let's jump to page 39 in the Cyberpunk Edge Runners mission kit.
All right. I'm there.
And I want you to look. I'm sorry, page 40. I'm sorry, page 40.
Gotcha.
What I want you to look at is the Tektronica RT46 Burya. That is the, if you see the cards, that is it's the left-hand side middle card. So that's equipped with a scope that can see simple targets through thin cover. And if you sacrifice your move, what you do is you're basically charging the weapon up, and you could take a charged shot that, while charged, the next attack with a rate of fire of 1 can fire through thin cover and ignores half of that target's stopping power. So it would literally, if that enemy had a light armor jack, it would ignore 6 points of it would ignore 6 points of that armor and just punch right through it.
Man, I love that.
Are you down for that?
Yeah, let's sign that up.
Okay. So for your very heavy pistol then, what I will do is I have a note card for you. And we can just go ahead and change that to weapons. Oh no, what are you doing? Hold on just 1 second. Let me fix this.
No problem.
Okay. All right. So for your very heavy pistol, all right, the damage is 4d6. Or your Burya is 4d6. The rate of fire is 1. Your ammo is very heavy pistol, or VHP. All right. It has 4 shots in it. So if you could just, where it says shots, if you could just click the button and upload it to 4, boom, there you go. And you have 30 rounds of very heavy pistol. So, so we'll deal with that in the we'll deal with that later. Okay. So, your assault rifle.
Yes.
All right. Let's jump back to the Cyberpunk Red Core Rulebook, and let's jump to page. Let's jump to page 341.
All right.
Okay. For your assault rifle, what we're looking at is, would he have just kind of your average everyday assault rifle? Like, I'm just using this, but I'm gonna kill you with my big gun.
Probably. I think either that or something. Something that is either very basic or like something scary, right? Like, no, let's just go basic, right? I assume he has something basic. He probably wants to get up close personal for either melee or, shoving a heavy pistol in your face.
Okay. So for that, right? Well, let's just go with a Militech Ronin. Okay. Your damage is 5d6. You have 20. The rate of fire is 1. It does require 2 hands. But here we go. You have what is called, this has auto fire. This has the auto fire feature. Now let's talk auto fire, right? You might be wondering what that go here. Yeah. So with your ranged weapon skills, right? You have archery, auto fire, handgun, and then up here you have heavy weapons and shoulder arms. Okay? I just want to take a shot with my Militech Ronin. Boom. I'm going to use shoulder arms. I want to expend 10 rounds and use auto fire. I will use my auto fire skill, and if we jump back to the Cyberpunk Red combat reference that I showed, that I had you download, you'll see the auto fire difficulty values based on range, right?
Yes.
So, like 7 to 12 meters and 13 to 25 meters with an assault rifle, not that bad. It can be done. But you need to have 10 rounds, all right? And here's how auto fire works. You waste those 10 rounds, you use those 10 rounds, you succeed at the difficulty value. Whatever you succeeded the roll by, so if you succeeded it by 2, it's 5d6 times 2. If you succeeded it by 3, it's 5d6 times 3.
Nice.
And it keeps going up and up and up until until you're like decimating people.
Yeah, that's intense.
It is intense. Now, what makes it even more intense is that these exact same things that you're using on them is the exact same things that they're going to be using on you.
Absolutely.
So it's really, really cool until you're like, oh man.
Yeah, until you're surrounded by a gang with assault rifles, you know?
Yeah. Well, and then we'll get into a little bit more about that. Okay, so you've got a katana. Let's go ahead and... Okay. So if you can jump to page 92.
All right.
You'll see very heavy melee weapon.
Yes.
And so sword is there, katana would fall under that. So the damage is 3d6 and the rate of fire is 2. Right? And a katana requires 2 hands. All right. Now that basic very heavy pistol.
All right.
All right. For that basic very heavy pistol, let's just go with a... How do you feel about... Okay, Can I get you to jump back over to the Cyberpunk Edge Runners Mission Kit rulebook?
Absolutely. Alrighty.
And how do you feel now if you jump to page 39 and on the right hand column, middle card, the Militech M 10AF Lexington.
I like it.
You like it?
I like.
All right.
Yeah, you can ricochet shots. Sweet.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead. Work here for you. Well, so now we've determined who your character was. We've given him quite a life. We've built his stats. We have we've now built his stats. There's just 2 things left that we need to do. All right. At this point in time, I'm going to give you time to go back over your skills. All right.
All right.
Okay. Your stats cannot increase. All right. You cannot increase any of your stats. You cannot increase any of your hit points. All right. But you have, write this number down. You've got 10 freebie points. All right. Your roll ability cannot be higher than 6 because you're starting. No skill can be higher than 14. All right, at start.
All right.
But if there's a skill that you don't have that you want, now you've got 10 points, and you can put some in your roll ability. You can just kind of build out your skills however you want to. And then once you've done that, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to determine the lifestyle that the housing and lifestyle of Axel.
Sounds good. And I assume that each one would be like, so 1 point would increase the level by 1?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then 1 point for the roll ability?
Yeah. But you
Awesome.
yeah. So if you bump your roll ability up to 6, then you've got 8 points to spend in your skills.
Gotcha. Sweet. All right. Thank you. I have a quick question for you, man.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So, I don't know really the game, but is there anything that I could add in, like, local expert that might help me out during game?
So your home, right? Now, yes, you can. So do you want, like, if that's kind of a flavor thing, and if you go to page 135 in the core rulebook,
All right.
you'll see that so you can, like, use factions. Say you want to be a local expert in corpos, or if you wanted to be a local expert in combat gangs, if you wanted to be a local expert in go gangers, automobiles, guns, whatever you wanted to be. And as you can see from the way that is written, you could basically pretty much put anything that you want in there. So it's, I don't want to dictate or tell you something, but generally if I'm playing a solo, I usually put gangs in there, like combat gangs. So if I wanted to get maybe get a little bit of information on like what Maelstrom is doing, or if, we're up against Tiger Claws, do I know that guy? Kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to fix that. So,
Yeah.
Local expert is location based.
Gotcha.
Like combat gangs and stuff like that would fall under Streetwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had
No
to reread
worries.
that.
So would this be like, I know that you had mentioned that there was like a whole Japanese area there. That would be
Yeah.
like that kind of a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could put Japantown.
Yeah. That sounds fun. All right. I spend my points.
All right. Okay. Now, since we spent our points, we've got everything pretty much set where we want them. Now, if I could get you to jump to page 377.
All right. I'm there.
All right. So your lifestyle and your housing, right? How does Axel live? Like, now if you look at that, what it says, like kibble, right? Kibble is basically the trashiest, cheapest, crappiest food that you could ever possibly live in, right? That you could possibly eat. So it's basically like you're eating dog food, but for humans. And then you've got your generic pre-pack, you eat food which is slightly better than kibble, Then you got your good pre-pack. Hey, you know what? You're not going to starve, but you know what? You're up there. You're kind of up there. You're eating. The way that I look at it is kind of like this: kibble, dirt poor; generic pre-pack, on your way to middle class; good pre-pack, middle class; fresh food, you're fucking rich.
That's fair. I imagine right now is probably generic pre-pack.
Okay. All right. So here where we have our housing, all right, what we want to do is put a generic pre-pack, where it says lifestyle. All right.
Yes.
We want to put a generic pre-pack and 300 EB. And that's right above where your role-specific life path is. Here. Right here, bud.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Gotcha. And that goes under lifestyle. Gotcha.
Yeah. That is 300
EB.
EB, eddies, or Euro dollars. All right. And then let's look at and then if we go to if we go to the next page, page 378.
All right.
What does he live in? Is he
My
living
guess
on
is probably a cube hotel right now.
a cube hotel? All right.
Yeah. Trying to upgrade to a cargo container.
Okay. So let's go ahead and that rent is 500. Now, here we go. That's what this is kind of there's some. I'm kind of like the Monopoly banker. Every time you go around a board, you got to pay rent. So at the end of every not at the end of every session, but at the end of each arc, and this is going to be a 3-arc story. So at the end of each arc, you'll have to pay your rent.
All right.
Otherwise, you're going to get kicked out.
Sounds good.
All right. So let's just take a look. Now we have an absolute. Oh, I forgot one thing. Right here where it says reputation, can you please set that to 1?
Absolutely.
The people who know where Axel is, if I can get you to put your Axel in your handle. All right. So now we've got our character completely and totally built.
Awesome.
And he's looking bad. So, all right. Now, what we're going to do is, before we move on to the next portion of this, do you have any questions over anything that we just did? Are there any skills that you're like,
The only one that I wasn't too sure about was under education skills. It's education. I wasn't sure what the difference between, like, is that a gen ed skill as opposed to like all these specialties, or how does that work?
So that's just a skill of your general knowledge, right? It gives you the ability to read, write, use basic math, and know enough history to get by. So if you have a question on like the history of Night City, or a certain location, or things like that, that's when the education skill would be used. If you succeed the difficulty, you paid attention. If you failed it, you were probably too busy making batty eyes and kissy faces at Seiyun.
Fair. Little distracted,
but hey, that's what childhood friends are for, right?
Exactly.
Are you ready to put Axel into the mean streets of Night City?
Absolutely.
All right. So, couple things before we get moving on. To keep this game moving as best as I can, and so I'm not giving the audience that will be watching this whiplash from like moving the screen around and stuff like that, I will be rolling my dice live. So I've got a bunch of D10s and a bunch of D6s in front of me. So I'll just be rolling my dice here. And plus it makes a really cool sound on this dice tray.
Sounds good.
So, and I've got all my notes and stuff back here. I may pop behind the GM screen every once in a while in my GM area to get something and move a map. But here we go.